What up, Space Fam? Goes in here from Anime Upper, and I'm back at it again to discuss the craziest and latest chapter of the One Piece story. And wow, this chapter is so full of craziness, including Mihawk's bounty, Crocodile's bounty, every Straw Hat's new bounty, Sabo's return, and much more. So make sure to stay tuned for this one. It's amazing. If you do enjoy these One Piece reviews and want to keep them coming, you know what to do. Channel Pirate King within and smash that like button with no mercy. Be a smashing Pirate King rather than a passing Orochi, and YouTube will always reward you with Wano fireworks. Make this the video you subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications or you will miss future One Piece videos and updates. Now I want to thank today's sponsor, Dislight. Do you guys still remember the dope game that I collaborated with in May? Now they're coming back with a much stronger Esper. You guys probably already know that I'm a big fan of this turn-based mobile role-playing game that brings gods of ancient Greek, Chinese, Norse, and Egyptian mythology into a modern, trendy world. For instance, you may find that Anubis is now a kendo expert and a dog-headed gentleman. As someone who loves mythology, this game is a dream come true with so many cool myth-inspired espers to collect and battle with. But the big news this time around is Zeus. Zeus was one of the first espers to gain power, and he, along with a few others, formed the Esper Union. Focused, low-key, and discreet, Zeus believes that he and Esper Union will solve the mystery of these miracles and save the world. Zeus is a very strong DPS Esper who is able to switch from his normal state to his hype God King state. Zeus not only looks dope and is able to control the power of thunder, he is also the only hero that has the unique God King mode, which made him more powerful than many other espers. Almighty Zeus Awakens is what many will be screaming soon, as the rate of summoning Zeus is up only during this activity, so now is the time to download the trendy futuristic mythology RPG Dislight through the link in the description and the pinned comment, and use the code ESPERUNION to get incredible gifts. If you have downloaded Dislight, please reopen it through the link in the description and use the code ESPERUNION to get incredible gifts and Nice to See You for extra homecoming gifts. You definitely don't want to sleep on Almighty Zeus's awakening. And now, without further ado, let's jump into it, spoilers and all. This chapter is called New Emperor, and although there will be Luffy moments, the title I think is referring more so to Buggy this time around, as we see in detail how he became the new emperor and the leader of both Crocodile and Mihawk, the strongest swordsman in the world. By the way, just to get the hype going even more, Shanks is brought up twice in this chapter, both times in very interesting ways, so we have that to look forward to as well. I must say this chapter over-delivered with the jam-packed awesomeness. So at first we catch up with the Straw Hats where Nami has beaten up Luffy and is chastising him for recklessly endangering their lives with the unsafe descent from Wano. It's funny because Luffy's Emperor title is totally juxtaposed with him looking pathetic as he's being chastised by Nami, showing that nothing has changed in terms of team dynamics, even if this is a Yonko crew now, which is comforting in its own way. Jinbei is the one who tells her to go easy on Luffy since no one was hurt, but he quickly gets scared by Nami too, who clearly runs the crew with an iron fist. It goes to show even if Nami isn't the strongest, she's important for, as she puts it, keeping Luffy and his stupidity on a tight leash. Jinbei even wonders if Nami has Conqueror's Haki from the look of it after witnessing her anger, which I'd assume was a joke, but with One Piece you never know for sure what's a joke and what's foreshadowing, especially when the Straw Hats are involved. Meanwhile, Frankie is bragging about how well the Sunny held up after the drop, saying they only busted a small yard on the mast. I'd assume that Kid and Law had even worse damage, but we don't find that out. Finally, we get the moment we've all been waiting for, the reveal of every Straw Hat's bounty, and I'm conflicted as I'll get into. There is definitely some hype here with these being called the updated bounties for the leaders of the 5,600 man Grand Fleet Emperor Straw Hat Luffy and his 9 commanders. So awesome to see all our Straw Hats being called commanders at this point, now that we are a Yonko crew. Chopper, as the commander pet, has the ongoing joke that he has a low bounty, and the joke continues as Chopper, the cotton candy lover as he's called, only went from 100 berries to 1,000 berries. Even Chopper is mad it barely went up. But from here, the bounties get pretty high. From lowest to highest, Nami has a bounty of 366 million, which she freaks out about since she knows that even she would go after someone with such a high bounty. Brooks is 383 million, Cyborg Frankie's is 394 million, but he's upset since the Sunny is on the poster and not him, although in my view, he should be happy his skilled creation made it on at least and is being appreciated in a way. Sniper God Usopp is now 500 million, and he is depressed because like Nami, he knows it makes him a target and he begged, please no more, don't go higher. I think he's actually scheduled for an epic fight this upcoming arc, and then his bounty will really skyrocket whether he likes it or not, although I think he'll be more cool with the new one because he'll embody more of that brave warrior of the sea ideal that he's aiming for. Robin's is awesome at 930 million, and yeah, it's not all about power with Robin, we know that, but let's not get it twisted. She was super strong against Black Maria, and I feel like she should get more respect strength-wise than she usually does. I also love how she doesn't even react to her bounty, as she's more concerned with just making Chopper feel better about his own low bounty. Such great waifu material right here. Lastly, we have the big three aside from Luffy, namely Sanji, Jinbei, and Zoro. Now this was totally predictable, so I will take zero credit for calling it, but Zoro has surpassed Sanji once again, and Sanji is predictably upset. Sanji is actually below Jinbei as well as below our pirate hunter Zoro right now. Still, it's hype that his bounty is over 1 billion at 1,032 million. Jinbei is 1.1 billion, while Zoro is barely ahead at 1,100,000,000, 1,100. Still, Zoro more than deserves it, and my issue with these last bounties is that like Luffy's, they really should be higher. After defeating King and Queen, Zoro and Sanji's bounties deserve to be higher than theirs, and yet they are not, which makes no sense to me, but I guess we just gotta accept that they lowballed our boys this time around, and we'll have to wait for another round of bounties to be satisfied. Finally, again, we get Luffy's bounty of 3 billion as he's proclaimed the fleet captain, Emperor Straw Hat Luffy, even as he's pathetically beaten up and trapped in a cage and whining about being hungry. Meanwhile, Sanji is fighting because Zoro called him number 4, and Zoro hilariously tells him to mind his tone around the crew's second. As a Zoro stan, I must say it's good to see him back in second where he belongs. Now we jump to the very good Buggy part of the chapter. We find out that Buggy isn't the undisputed leader of the organization yet, as some people may have thought. In fact, he's crying and saying he'll do anything, even lick Crocodile's boots clean, which it must be said is not Pirate King energy. Like with Luffy in this chapter, his title of Emperor is contrasted with a very un-Emperor-like situation. Crocodile then gives us some much appreciated explanations. He explains that Cross Guild was supposed to be under him and Mihawk, which makes a lot of sense. He asks, so why is Buggy considered the boss? Buggy says he can't do anything but apologize, while Mihawk says Buggy is probably the only person in history to become an emperor after crying for mercy. He adds that having Buggy die here wouldn't even begin to make up for this. Crocodile says it's beyond insulting, and when Buggy begs to be spared, Mihawk tells him not to make unreasonable requests, which is a pretty hilarious line, I must say. Galdino, who is not so loyal to Buggy, tries to get in Crocodile's good graces by saying it's so nostalgic to be serving him again. And although Buggy is upset by this, we can't be surprised since Galdino's always been looking out for his own best interest, and we definitely saw this during the Impel Down prison break. Buggy's top followers also consider joining Crocodile since Buggy is clearly a goner too, saying it's a cold, harsh world out there. We then get a much appreciated flashback as to how Mihawk and Crocodile teamed up. As we guessed, the Marines kept swarming Mihawk's island, and yes, Mihawk could deal with them, but it was a nuisance and he thought he'd have to relocate. And in the flashback, Crocodile explains that is why it would be good for them to team up. The Navy wouldn't take an organization headed by them too lightly, so in reality, this organization was supposed to be headed by the partnership of Crocodile and Mihawk rather than by Buggy, which makes a lot of sense, especially when we get into these guys' bounties. We also get a hype detail that they used to refer to Mihawk as the Marine Hunter compared to Zoro the Pirate Hunter, which is a cool parallel right there as well. The two find common ground in precisely the fact that they have trouble finding common ground with others. They are the same in that they don't trust anyone, and that's enough to get Mihawk considering the deal. Buggy, for his part, remembers how he was gonna make a run for it when the Marines came for him until the warships were attacked by Crocodile. This led Buggy's followers to assume that the rumors are true. Crocodile is working under Buggy and thus risking his own life to help Buggy. We get another hilarious misunderstanding that inspires loyalty in Buggy's followers. Meanwhile, Buggy knows Crocodile must be here because Buggy owes him a lot of cash, even though he's broke. He thinks to himself that this is even worse than the Marines, which is pretty hilarious. Despite calling Crocodile Croco-chan, Buggy is not having much luck at first. Crocodile wants his money since he's forming his own company. Buggy offers to join and help Crocodile's company. He'll serve him as a former warlord, he'll work twice as hard to pay his debt, and he's pretty correct when he says it's always good to be flashy and get the word out with a bang. He points out that he has connections that can help with advertising, printers, couriers, and so on. He says they can be worked to the bone for free. And so that is how the poster that emphasized Buggy in the boss position got made and spread around. Crocodile holds the poster up, calling Buggy Mr. President, ironically. He's not happy, and in Buggy's defense, it wasn't deliberate. His men just love him so much, they made him look like the leader, and the world believed it. We even see how he was shocked when he saw the final product, but it was too late since the flyers were already sent out. We even see how the Navy interpreted it. They call Buggy the mastermind of the mass escape from Impel Down, a member of the Pirate King's crew, which led to a close bond with Emperor Shanks, and they got confirmed reports that Crocodile came to his aid when he attacked those Marine warships. They also know that Crocodile and Mihawk have made contact, so it makes sense after everything, including the poster, that they think Buggy is more dangerous than he actually is. It's even pointed out that their new Marine hunting movement has already gotten financial backing from a number of shady organizations. And again, I gotta say, the Marine hunting aspect is one of my favorites in the story so far. I absolutely love that twist. The Marines say that with the rebellions they're already dealing with, Cross Guild is undoubtedly a massive threat. So they accordingly give these 3 high bounties. Crocodile, the actual mastermind, gets the lowest bounty out of the 3 at 1.965 billion berries for his Logia ability and Cunning Guile, which is still way ahead of Zoro. So when it comes to the top 3 in this organization bounty-wise, this Yonko crew is stacked. In reality, Crocodile's would probably be even higher if he wasn't overshadowed by Buggy. Then we get the crazy moments we've been waiting for like 1,000 chapters. We get a bounty for Mihawk. It's also stated that he has even greater sword skills than Emperor Shanks, which is implied in the name Greatest Swordsman, but still crazy to hear it spelled out like this. Again, it doesn't say he's stronger, but the statement still suggests he'd win in a clean sword fight against a Yonko, which is unbelievably hype. And it's reflected in his insane bounty. As a non-Yonko, his bounty is a crazy 3.59 billion berries. That's almost as high as Shanks, and when you consider they think he's Buggy's underling and not a Yonko leader, it's not hard to picture that Mihawk could potentially even have a higher bounty than Shanks if he was at the head of a Yonko crew. It's speculation obviously, but it's still so insane to have someone like Mihawk around who has a higher bounty currently than 3 of the 4 Yonko, and he's not a Yonko himself. This chapter has definitely gone a long way in adding even more respect to Mihawk's name, which is good because I think most don't give him the respect he deserves. Then, because of all the reasons we covered and the fact that they think Buggy got Mihawk and Crocodile to yield to his authority, Buggy got a bounty of 3.189 billion, higher than Luffy's, but interestingly enough, not higher than Mihawk's. This is like if Zoro's bounty was higher than Luffy's. Man, this chapter is such a flex for Mihawk, I gotta say, and I'm loving it. And although it didn't show Buggy in the best light, we can't deny Buggy's superpower of being lucky and being able to weasel himself out of practically every situation. I do love to hear though that the world government considers Buggy an extremely dangerous individual, even as bounties have now clearly ceased to be an accurate gauge of a character's actual power. Not saying they were especially accurate before, but it's clearer than ever that they are not now, especially after Luffy and Zoro got so lowballed. Now I love Mihawk here. He's the one that eventually decides that it's not that bad having Buggy as a figurehead. He has no interest in the title of Emperor, he just longs for peace. And what Mihawk wants, Crocodile seems to go with. Mihawk decides to let Buggy have the target on his back and adds that they can dispose of him if the need arises. Crocodile says because it's true, and then we see Buggy acting as leader and saying they formed Cross Guild to prepare for the new age. He then introduces the new executives, Crocodile and Mihawk. Buggy is crying because he's so unsure of what will happen to him, while his men assume he's moved to tears because he's so happy or something, and they say they are moved to tears as well. We then catch up with the revolutionaries as if this chapter wasn't already hype enough. Most people like me believe in Sabo, however Dragon says he's glad Sabo is okay, but if he truly murdered King Cobra, then he won't forgive him no matter what his reasons. This is definitely building the mystery and a possible rift between Dragon and Sabo, who's become arguably more famous as of late in the world of One Piece. It's nice to see Kuma freed in a panel, but it is sad hearing him just talk like a slave, saying, "I'm yours to command, master." Even Koala tears up while witnessing the scene. We then jump to the Marines, who are picking up a call that is in fact Sabo, the Flame Emperor, calling the revolutionaries. The manga asks us, will we find out the truth? And we're told we have a break next week. But wow, what an amazing chapter to go on break with. This was amazing, 10 out of 10 in my view, even if I am a bit salty about Luffy and Zoro's bounties not being higher. Still, the Mihawk awesomeness was so good this chapter, it arguably made up for it. Let me know your thoughts on the chapter and how you would rate it. Channel the Pirate King Within and smash that like button if you enjoyed this review and want to keep them coming. Be a smashing Pirate King rather than passing Orochi, and YouTube will reward you with Wano fireworks. Make this the video you subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications or you will miss future One Piece videos and updates. And while you wait for the next One Piece video and chapter to drop, feel free to check out my giant and growing One Piece playlist that includes videos on all the Yonko, Admirals, Warlords, Mythical Zone users, and much more. Link to that is in the description and on screen right now. And until next time, see you, Space Cowboys.